Welcome to Better Than Tech. And what's better than tech? People, process, and tech. I'm John Salt.
The man himself, I presume.
Just as handsome as in his portrait.
I'm a CIO in the UK within a professional services and technology business. And I mostly concern myself with software development come product management. And this channel is my way of trying to correct 3 of my biggest failings. And the third is probably my worst.
Declaring myself thus, I am fully aware that I will be going expressly against the wishes of my family, my friends, and I hardly need add my own better judgment.
I'm a big believer in embracing mistakes, and I encourage my teams to freely share their mistakes so that we can all learn from them. I make mistakes too, and that is not a failing. I am but human. If you cut me, do I not bleed? And cry. But the fact that I don't share my mistakes as often as I could is a failing, and it makes me a hypocrite. And it's odd that I don't share my mistakes more often because I make so many of them.
Absolutely marvellous.
Like the time I was an IT training manager, and my team revolted in opposition to how I was managing them.
I had not known you a month before I felt you were the last man in the world whom I could ever marry.
Bit harsh. Then there was the time I made some decisions about technical debt, and got it so wrong that I nearly caused the demise of my employer. Or, speaking of which, there was the time that I worked for a business that did go bust. That one wasn't my fault, but I still learned a lot from the organisation's mistakes. I don't think that was my fault. I don't want to be a hypocrite, so here's me sharing my mistakes and what I've learned.
This is a wretched beginning. If you don't believe me, I'm sure no one else will.
One of my other failings is not paying myself first when it comes to time. There is a concept in personal finance that you should pay yourself first. What they mean by that is that when you receive your income, it's a mistake to pay everyone else for everything that you need or want, all of your bills, then all of your Amazon purchases. Because then by the end of the month, chances are you'll have nothing left to save for your future self, because somehow it's all just spent. Paying yourself first means that instead when you get your income, you put some aside for your long-term goals, and then you work with what you've got for the rest of the month. And so it should be with time spent on learning. I should be making sure that I spend time not just doing my work, but investing days in thinking about and improving how I do my work. And I don't do that anywhere near as much as I should.
Nor am I ashamed of the feelings I related. They were natural and just.
This channel is my new way to try and fix that. Here I'm not talking about my work itself, but how I do the work and how to improve. I read a lot of non-fiction, and I watch a lot of educational videos here on YouTube. So far so good. And I've had many years of working in IT, many years. And I've experienced a lot. But how much of this content that I've consumed, and the work that I've done, have I really learned from? As in the next time I'm in a situation when I could really do with recalling some of those wise lessons, do I? I'm certain a lot of it is going in one ear and out the other.
That is a failing indeed. But I cannot laugh at it.
I've found a couple of ways to get better. The first is by writing things up in OneNote or Notion or such, or better still, writing up key points on index cards and putting them in a shoebox, and then I'll have an occasional flick through and think about how the notes I made then might relate to the work that I'm doing now. The second thing I've found useful is to use Readerwise, which lets you pull out notes from various content sources, like highlights you've made on a Kindle, and then you can have it send you a daily email with 5 or so snippets. So it's like the index cards idea, but it drip feeds it to you every day, which is magic. But of course, if I really want something to sink in, then I know that I should explain it to somebody else. You can do that, of course, by writing a forum post or a blog post or just explaining something to a colleague. But I'm going to try and do that here by creating these videos to try to help you, and so try to help future me. And we'll see how that goes. And speaking of which, why not try this video?